Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. Today, I want to talk about pet obesity and why it is important to note that. So, did you realize that 60% of dogs and cats in the US are overweight? That is a huge amount. And, while they may look cute and chubby, it's just not healthy for them. And let me tell you why. So, let's just do 1 pound for a small dog is about 10 to 15 extra pounds for a human. That's a lot, 1 pound. And then 1 pound for a larger size dog is about 5 pounds for a human. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not have an extra 5, 10, or 15 pounds on me. And you can see the difference and you can feel the difference. So imagine your dog who has to walk on their little paws and hold all this weight. So the problem is that obesity can lead to very many diseases, such as joint issues, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, kidney disease, respiratory and heart disease, chronic inflammation, and many forms of cancer. And we know that we don't want our pets to be unhealthy. That's going to lead to more vet visits, high bills, and obviously less time with our pets. Because in fact, studies show that an overweight pet, their lifespan is decreased by 2.5 years. That is huge for, let's just say, a few pounds. Even 1 pound is unhealthy for them. So think about that. 2.5 years lifespan shortened. And so I know there are some dogs that they just have a genetic trait where they just gain weight. And some of those are golden retrievers, cocker spaniels, beagles, labs, and there's a few others. And what also can cause weight gain is being spayed and neutered because they store their fat cells and it'll slow down the metabolism. And then obviously age will slow down your dog because they're going to be less active. They're going to lay around more. They're going to need less food. Their diet is going to need to change because since they're not running around like puppies, they're not going to, or kittens, they're not going to need as much calories. They're not going to need as much food. So you need to make that adjustment for them. And also too many treats. You don't want to give your dogs or cats, if they eat it, you don't want to give them people food. You don't want to feed them off your table. And you don't want to give them a ton of treats, especially if they are not high quality, if they are just, very high in calorie and fats and just fillers. And you also want to exercise your pet. Make sure that whatever they enjoy doing that gets them moving, that you do more of that with them. So if they enjoy playing with a ball outside, if they enjoy running around the house, if you can be careful with that, if they love walks, if they love hiking, if they love whatever it is that they like, do more of that with them so that they stay active and their body keeps moving. And so you want them to release more calories than they are taking in. So once you realize, you obviously want to rule out any disease. Obviously, you want to make sure they don't have Cushing's disease or hyperthyroid disease. So the way you can tell if your dog, I'm going to share my screen. So the way you can tell if your dog or cat is overweight is by this chart here. So if you can see the pet up here, here's a dog and a cat, and these pets are they have, little rolls here, if I will. And so these two dogs and cats are very overweight. They're obese. Then it comes a little bit lower here, so a little bit less chubby, and they're overweight. So this is where you want your dog or cat to be. You want them to, this is how they should look from the top and from the sides. Now, if you can see their ribs in any way, they're too thin. And you don't want them to be too thin either. You want them to be ideal weight. And we can make those changes. You're able to make those changes, like I said, with the proper diet and enough exercise. So let's just say your pet eats too fast. Like they're just excited about food and they eat too fast. First of all, you want to make sure you're giving them the right amount. So make sure you always measure their food. You're giving them as much as they are required to have per the bag or per whatever you feed. And if they eat too fast, you might want to try puzzles. There are all kinds of puzzle bowls. There are puzzle toys where you can put their food in there, and it actually works their brain. That's exercise for their brain. But there's all kinds of puzzles that you can find either on Amazon. I like to go to Home Goods if you have one near you, or you can find them at a pet store as well. So that is one option. You also only want to give them 20 minutes to eat. So if you put their food, you put their bowl down in 20 minutes, whatever they're able to eat, that's great. You pick it back up and you wait till the next meal. So don't leave the food out because they may just, if they like to eat, they're just going to sit there and they're going to eat all day long, and that's not healthy for them. So if you have multiple pets that you feed, you want to make sure that the overweight pet doesn't get the other food. I mean, that's obvious. I know it's not always easy, but try as best as you can to make sure that they're not getting extra food from somewhere else, from the other dogs, or especially the cat. So you don't want your overweight dog to eat cat food because it's higher in calories, because that's what the cat needs, but dogs don't need it. It's too much protein, or it's too much calories for them, but obviously sometimes they like to eat it because it's tasty. And you want to make better choices. You want to make sure that you're feeding quality food that has, high value, not fillers, not, a bunch of fillers. I can help you with ideas if you have questions about that, but you want to make sure you're feeding good quality food and that you're feeding the right amount. And when it comes to treats, you don't want to give them high calorie treats. You want to make sure they are simple ingredients and low in calories. I have options for that as well. And so a tip is you want to know how many calories your dog or cat should be eating, and it should be 90% their food and only 10% treats. And by treats, I mean the good quality treats, high quality treats, not your leftovers or your scraps from the table. You don't want to feed them. You don't want to feed them off the table. That's not really a good idea. I know we all like to do it, but it's just not a good idea. It's especially if they're overweight. So let's just say you feed your dog. You do the 20 minutes and they still seem hungry. What you can do as a healthier option is you can give them a little bit of pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin that you make pies with for humans. You want to give them pure pumpkin that's only pumpkin, nothing else added to it. Give them a little bit of that, and what that does is that it's filling for them and it's high in fiber. So that's going to help them flush some of that, those calories out as well. So I hope this has been helpful for you. It's really important, really, just to get them moving. So you want to balance out. You want to make sure they're eating only as much as they're supposed to, and getting them that exercise, because it's really important. Obviously, you don't want them. We all want our dogs and cats to be healthy and to live and stay with us for a long time, as long as possible. So let's make that choice and make sure to feed them what they should be eating, and only as much as they should be eating, and get them a lot of exercise. If you're not able to walk your dog, there's plenty of dog sitters, I'm sure, around that are, have cheaper rates, like, maybe high school students or even younger. So just, there's options. And if you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to help and give you suggestions. Have an awesome day.